Let's take a quick look at the 60-minute chart of today as well. This is the S&P on the 60-minute chart. So this is a pretty good example of a market in a strong position, but still very quiet. We don't conflate the speed of a market with whether or not it is strong or weak. And it's an error to do that. A slow market can be very strong. A fast market can be very weak. So see if you can disabuse yourself of tying those things together. Because when a market is slow, we don't measure it by speed. We measure it by how the market handles particular important price levels. So a market shows strength in that way, not by moving quickly or by moving slow. A market can rally in a downtrend. It can have a rally that's very fast, but that doesn't mean it's strong. The rally ends and the market comes back down and takes the lows out. So it wasn't really strength. It was just the market running up. So, and having to run fast. But that's just the nature of how the market is. There's a lot of things that are non-intuitive about the markets that aren't like ordinary things. It's like if you look up in the sky and you see clouds and you can see rain in the distance somewhere, you know how it looks from a distance. It looks like it's just kind of gray, but you can tell that it's rain because the cloud is very low and so on. You might, the normal thing it would be, well, yeah, that could come over here and rain on us here. You know, the weather's bad and we're starting to feel it over here, so it's probably going to rain here. That's a normal response, but the markets don't allow you to make those kinds of calls and usually be correct about them. That something looks like it's going to happen, and just because it just sort of naturally looks that way, it often, in most cases, doesn't happen. So there's a lot of non-intuitive things going on in the market. And if you learn more about how markets work, which is what I'm always advocating, to understand the market better means that you start to operate more like it operates, and it has a different whole thing that it's doing. Don't look for it to comfort you or to do what you might, like as a natural man or woman, think it might do. It does what its nature intends it to do. And that's what you need to learn about. And that's what we're all learning about. And all you need is a little bit of truth to make that work for you. You don't have to understand every last little move in the market. And I certainly don't. But I do understand enough about the conditions that I can say with a very high degree of certainty that a very specific thing is about to happen. And that's what we want to do in order to produce some kind of success from trading. We have the S&P, and here's the S&P from the daily chart. You can see, let me blow this up just a little bit. So you can see we're just basically kind of in the doji position, right? You know, from candlestick charting. Let me just change the background of this. You'll be able to see this a little bit better. So yeah, you can see that we're right there. We're basically where we opened right now and trading up at 45.37. So S&P still in a very good position overall. We did make new highs today. We do have targets above us, like I told you, that are in play right now. Sometimes we refer to them as being lit up, and that means like one of those targets, the main one originally back down over here, was that they would move up to 44 to 45. This is 45, 44 to 45, 45. And they did that yesterday. They got up to 44. But I'm happy to see today them go through that, because if they were only going to do it by touching it and just kind of skeletally, you know, that's all they could do is just touch the number, that can mean something else is going on here with the market on the downside, meaning that weakness is shown. So by them getting above it today, that's pretty important. I'd also don't mind telling you that a super pristine close today in the S&P would be above 45.40, 45.39 to 49.40. That's like just as good as it can get if they can close above 45.39 to 40. That's a great close. Even closing above the levels that I talked about in this forecast here, this morning's trade, even staying above 45.28, closing above 28 would be an important indication.